Hey guys, happy Monday. In today's video, we'll be going through latest updates with macro news as well as understanding Carvana use case 3 years ago. The share price was at $3.50 today. Getting into S&P 500, the stock price is, over $400 as we speak. What does this mean for the use case for Opendoor tapping into real estate sector? The sky's the limit. It's only a matter of time where we could see Opendoor be like the next Carvana stock. We'll go through technical analysis updates as well, looking at, the technical indicators for Opendoor. We'll go through price predictions for the remainder of 2025 and through 2026. And you don't want to miss it. I will be playing an epic clip of Eric Jackson Day 111. Let's begin, guys. Stevio posts is open is the next story only for a much bigger industry, real estate, you name it. Brew Markets post is Carvana just pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in stock market history. $452 right now. I mean, look at this. 2022, this thing dropped from like 380 all the way down to like $3 per stock. What has happened since 13,000% gain within a matter of years, like 3 years from 2023 where we are today. So is Opendoor, going through the same use case right now, currently at single digits? It's only a matter of time. Stevie O also posted Golden Cross just happened. What that means is you have the 50-day SMA crossing the 200-day simple moving average on Opendoor. First time in the stock's history. What does this mean? I mean, we have this crossing. Typically, whenever you have that Golden Cross, that's very bullish for stocks. So, while we've seen the stock consolidate for the last several months, building a base at $7, with this long consolidation period, the fact that now we've locked in that $7 support, it may be the next leg up for what's to come with Opendoor. Flow God posts, one interesting call option that a whale had just purchased, 185,000 call buyer with an expiration of February 20th, 2026, just with an open call option of $13 contract. So what does that mean? This person is bullish and that Opendoor could very well just go beyond double digits. We've seen it gone around $11, not too far away from this amount, $13 call option. So, things can look very bullish as we head towards, 2026. Kaz reposted a post from this person. 8 weeks ago, we introduced early move-in home on Opendoor. Since then, families have used it to schedule furniture delivery, set up internet store boxes, and show their friends and relatives around on Thanksgiving, and even have their kids go trick-or-treating from their new home. Today, we're making three small but meaningful updates. Number one, free cancellation. Cancel your purchase anytime before closing with no penalty. Two, we're calling this group of benefits the Open Door Guarantee 100-day warranty, early move-in, and free cancellation. And lastly, three, live across all Opendoor homes in Texas since this morning nationwide before the end of 2025. What does that tell you? I mean, there's just so much flexibility for home buyers right now. It gives you that confidence in that you can move into a home, and if you don't like the decision, you get your money back. And you also have a 100-day warranty on, coverage, key systems, major appliances, along with free cancellation with zero penalty. That really just assures to customers that Opendoor is the software platform that offers, a number of benefits, especially when you're making a big home purchase. And this will cater towards a lot of customers, similar to how Carvana has it, ease of use, conveniency, and that's how you lock in a big, network base that will be prone to be using Opendoor. Let's look at Hassie Trades. He posts, longest consolidation ever for Open. Once we get that close above $8.50, it will be magic. So put it in the comments how high you think Opendoor is going to be going for the rest of 2025. What about through 2026? How high can it go? Let's go through technical analysis. So, I have several indicators on right now, but what are we seeing? I got this bull flag drawn out. We got smart money, consistently buying right now. When we look at relative strength, in terms of the indicator for buying and selling, it's really gone around this equilibrium phase, hovering at around 46. With the MACD, we haven't really seen bullish divergence since that run up top back in September. So it's cooled down for several months now, September, October, November, December. So 4 months of just consolidating. So definitely an opportunity for it to, push up in terms of bullish divergence with green, histograms on the MACD as well as relative strength to soon be, rolling out here. But as we kind of just look at, what's to come, just based on what I'm seeing on the charts, let's take a look at some indicators here. So, we got the red indicator. Yes, we do have some retracement going on, just on the short term, but I think that, what continues to remain in this bull flag, we're going to have a soon breakout where we're going to see that next leg up. Question is, how high can it go? I think we're going to land somewhere around that $13. It really just depends on the price action. Rate cuts are coming. I think, heading into December, January, we have that opportunity for it to break above $13. Just looking at the Ichimoku cloud, where we are right now, critical area where we are, we're hovering right around that Ichimoku cloud. So I think what's key is getting above, $8. And as we can hold support at $8, we can definitely start climbing up, next leg up with what's to come here. Just looking at other indicators, as we look at the trend ribbon, we're really combating right now. Bulls really want to take action, flip that trend, have that be in the green zone from a trend perspective. Alpha trends, we have buy signals turned on right now. Definitely a good thing here. We got that buy signal. It hasn't switched yet. So let's see how things, play out as we, head towards the rest of the year and into 2026. As we look at, just the weekly charts, this overall bull flag, as we turn on the Ichimoku cloud, yes, we're still, in that range where price is, hovering right around that Ichimoku cloud area. So it'll be interesting to see, when we're gonna, break out to the next leg up. But overall, all in all, I think things are just looking very bullish for Opendoor, holding this ground, especially with that recent run up, getting up to like, $11. So definitely looking very solid, building a base at $7 before we go to the next levels. 2026, I think we can get to like, 25, $35 at a minimum conservative scale. With that, let's listen to Eric Jackson.
It's day 111, late in the day. Things are happening, and the next week or 2 weeks actually are going to be particularly busy. Things will be revealed. So you want to stay tuned for that. But that is the reason why I am recording this late in the day with my trusty office mates, Teddy and Ruby here. We're on a little bit of a walk. We're getting our snow walk in. No days off for me, no days off for them. We continue to walk through the snow, even if it's at dusk and you can't really see very well, at least not as you could earlier in this day. And that's kind of symbolic for what happens a lot of times in investing and in running a company or in a marriage. A lot of the change that happens occurs when you can't see it, when it's a little hazy on the horizon. It's not as clear as the clear day. Something else happened interestingly in the markets today. Today was the first day where Carvana traded since its S&P 500 inclusion on Friday night. The stock closed at $448. So it is now officially up 128x. It's a 128 bagger compared to where it was 3 years ago, almost to this day. And if I had told you 3 years ago that Carvana at $3.50 would in 3 years' time be trading at $448, $450, you would have had me certified and shipped out. And yet that's what's happened. Nobody could see it at the time. Even if you squinted, try to see something on the horizon, very difficult to see that happening, and yet it did. And so, what's going to happen? What's happening right now? What if you squint is going to be possible in your marriage or among your portfolio? In the rising dynasty family, obviously, we're looking closely at all of the names like Opendoor and Better and Iron and Cipher and BTQ that we think have that long-term potential. It doesn't always move day to day, but you have to keep squinting. You have to keep working in those darker hours in order to be prepared when those returns come. I recall that I was on CNBC on June 8th, 2023, talking about Carvana. And that was a day where Carvana opened at $15, closed at $25 because they pre-announced good EBITDA earnings for the quarter that they were in at that time. And that was so unexpected. The stock was up on the day 61%. Same thing's going to happen to Opendoor eventually when it does get announced. And a lot of the rising dynasty family, both current included members of the portfolio as well as ones that might get announced soon. And so you just have to keep looking for the same features at play. Founders or refounding, Jevons paradox, the power law that could apply to some technology company. The same things happen again and again in these stocks, and they will continue to. So keep working in the shadows. You got to own the future, not rent it. So you have to own something meaningful in your portfolio today that is going to reprice over the next 3-4 years. What do you have in your wallet?
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this content, just like what Eric Jackson says, just conviction, owning in a stock that has potential, and that's where Open Door could really change lives. Thanks, guys, for watching. Take care.